Hello everyone, Richard here. This is a modding playlist based on Dead Space Remake. We are going to be going through modding several aspects of Dead Space Remake in this series, and we are going to be using the Frosty tool suite, which is a modding tool made mainly for Frostbite engine games. So this tool is, for example, used a lot to make mods, or mainly used to make mods for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which might ring a bell for some of you already. And recently, or well, about a while ago, Hardgapped here made a fork, modified the Frosty tool suite and made it compatible with Dead Space and also games like NFS Unbound. So this is how Dead Space Remake modding has been possible in the first place. For this series, I'm going to assume you have at least basic computer knowledge, such as downloading files and extracting files and stuff like that. I'm not going to be teaching how to do that. As of the time of making this video, we can currently modify textures, countless types of configurations, stats and features such as difficulty, enemy spawns, behavior, weapons, rendering, a bit of shaders, the UI or HUD, effects, director, loot, localization language, events, and much more. I'm not gonna list everything, but yeah. We can also change and modify the levels already. I've actually done so before. I, for example, removed a few oxygen and stasis stations. Sounds can probably also be modified, but nobody has really done it yet. If it is possible, you will see it probably later in the playlist. Now, editing the models themselves is possible, but there's currently no way to import them back into the game functionally, so that is, as of the time of making this video, impossible. Mesh swapping is possible. There are some mods on Nexus Mods already for that, but yeah, it just needs a bit more of figuring out what to do, and we'll probably have it at some point. In today's video, we're going to be going over downloading this Frosty tool suite editor, setting it up, and how to navigate and use the UI and get familiar with the UI of the Frosty tool suite editor. So we can already jump right into modding in the upcoming episodes. So I will be putting all important links in the description. For now, you can either get this Frosty tool suite editor from the GitHub of the fork itself, or you can join the public Dead Space Remake modding Discord. There's a resources, modding tools. We are all active in here, at least the people who are interested or are modding Dead Space Remake. Sometimes it's the public variant. We share resources as well in here on what we find, so it's very cool. You should join. It does not really matter where you get it from. I do recommend to download the one from Discord. I think it was a bit updated or something, but you can also just use the one from GitHub. I don't think there's a huge difference right now. Just maybe a minor difference. I'm going to be downloading the one from the Discord. It's going to be downloading, and we're going to extract it. I'm not going to do this since I already have the editor. And once you've extracted the editor, it's going to be kind of looking like this right here. And we will have the Frosty editor exe. Now, of course, you gotta make sure you have Dead Space Remake installed and launched at least once, which you should probably. And let's open up Frosty editor. Now, you can ignore this. I'm gonna remove it. This is how it's gonna look like for you. We are gonna add Dead Space Remake now. So for this, we're gonna go to where our Dead Space Remake is installed, which is typically I have it on an external hard drive. For you, it might be somewhere in here, like C program files, Steam apps, Steam apps, common, and then you will find Dead Space Remake in here. Like for me, right here, I have an empty folder, but for me, it's just on another hard drive. And you're gonna select the executable and double click it. Now for you, it'll take about a minute creating the cache, or even longer, depending on your computer. As you can see, for me, it launched immediately because I've already opened this a million times. No problems. Now we have already showed up in the editor. Might look a bit confusing, but it's actually very simple. Let's go over the UI of the editor very quick. It's really not much. In the top left, we have File. We can create a new project, open one, see recent projects, save our project, and save the project as a new project. Export to mod is not used in Dead Space Remake as modding as of right now, so this is useless. We have options, which is not really important. You can enable Discord RPC status in here, which I have done. It's kind of cool. There are no other languages to select. If you ever have some issues with displaying of meshes in the editor, you can change the graphics card in here. And you can also decrease or increase the sound options in here. Next, we have a very useful color menu. If we ever change some sort of color in the game, we can use the color picker to get all the X, Y, Z, even W values for brightness or alpha. It's very nice, very easy. No need to use any external software or browser or some websites on the browser. I'm not really sure what this does quite yet. And these two are also not important for now, unless I believe you add or remove models, but we'll get to that at some point. This is useful later on if you have opened many files in here and you can close them all at once. Ctrl+D can be helpful. In here, in view, we can switch to different views. Animation editing is, as far as I know, not supported in real modding of this game right now. At least I haven't seen anyone try. There's also the string editors, blah blah blah. We'll get to this later in the playlist in this series. So right now, don't pay attention to this. We will get to it at some point. In here, we have some more quick buttons to access the things in here, and we have a launch button, which is based pretty much going to be compiling the mod, and it's actually not going to launch the game because Dead Space Remake is a bit icky with the editor right now. It will not automatically apply the mod we created and launch the game with it. We're going to have to always do that manually unless some way Hargapt finds to fix the implementation for this of this for the game. But we'll get to this in the future in this playlist as well. Now, on the left, we have the Data Explorer. This is one of the things you're going to be using the most, and as you can already guess, it is pretty much like a Windows Explorer. It's here. In here are all the files, really all the files of the remake you can find. Most of the game's things are in, well, the game folder. And as you can see, I've already clicked on the game folder, and down here, it's going to show the content of each folder. Now keep in mind, it's not going to show the content of the subfolders. As you can see, I'm going to have to manually click on the subfolders to show the content of them. And when they have an arrow here, I'm going to have to keep searching. So that's pretty much how that goes. And in here we will see the contents, which we can double click a file, and yeah, it already opened this weird window, which we will get to in a minute. Now here at the bottom, we have the log, useless. I mean, at least I've never heard anyone you need this before, unless you really want to see what's happening in the editor for some reason. And then we have bookmarks. Bookmarks are just like browser bookmarks. You can select a file in the content browser right here and press on this add bookmark button, and it will be added in here so you can go back to it later or when you just need it very quickly, when you need to compare different files. It's very useful. Then we have bundles. Honestly, I'm not really sure what this is. I've never really opened this window, and every time I checked it, it was just kind of empty, just like this. Oh, never mind, it just shows some text, but this is not really that important, to be honest. Now, we have references. References is going to be very, very useful for trying to figure out where stuff is, because obviously this is a compiled game, which we have kind of cracked open via the editors and tools. So this is not an open source game. Everything is compiled. We're going to have to find the stuff manually for hard work, which we have already done on the modding Discord together in the recent months. And this references window has been a huge help. So basically, Let's, for example, go to the settings file right here in default folder. When you click on a file in the content here browser, it will show the reference. It will have two windows here: references to settings to this file, and references from settings. So if I open this file, we're gonna see we can extend this settings element, for example, in the properties tab here. I can already see that in this file, I can already like assume and understand that this file itself is making references to other files, because this is a whole settings file, right? And if another file is taking something or making a reference from this file, then it's going to show up in this window right here. So let me try to find a file which has both happening at the same time. For example, I just went to game, AI, creature, action, state banks. What this is, we're going to get to at some point. But as you can see right here, I can see that the divider parts, action states are being referenced from several different other files. This file right here is being referenced to several different other files. But this file is also referencing other files that it uses in, presumably, yeah, the action states element right here. So very simple. I hope you understand. And as you can already see, we can also see this type of each file in the content browser. I low-key almost forgot to mention that there's also a search bar and a show only modified thing in here, which will obviously box, which will obviously show only the files we have modified, and we can search for specific stuff in the search bar like suit, and the image I am showing right now on screen is some features you can use in the search bar to search for specific stuff which is implemented in the editor. So for example, we can search for GUID, and then if we have some specific GUID we want to copy over, we can look for that. Or if we want to look for contains, let's say VGT, then we can see all of the files that have VGT in its name. Or we can also look for specific data types. Anyways, this is it for this video. In the next one, we're going to be going over how to make texture mods and in general everything about texture modding in the Frosty editor. So yeah.